Here are the top headlines making news at the University of Limpopo this week. University of Limpopo pays tribute to Josephine Moshobane as Minister Thoko Didiza delivers keynote. Gender Desk organized a delightful picnic at the Oscar Mpeta Stadium for women. The Vice-Chancellor and Principal is spearheading recruitment initiatives to remote high schools. And Spring Lectures critically examines Africa's place in an increasingly interconnected global landscape. These are some of the headlines for this week at the University of Limpopo. You are watching Inside UL News. Good day. The University of Limpopo pays tribute to the enduring legacy of its alumni who have left an indelible mark on the institution. In celebration of the invaluable contributions made by women, the university proudly hosted the second annual Josephine Moshobane Memorial Lecture featuring a compelling address by Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development Thoko Didiza. Recounting her years as a student, political activist, being imprisoned and isolated, and losing her life in the aftermath of police brutality, Josephine Moshobane's life and times remain engrossed in the liberation of black students across the country, particularly in Teflo. Josephine is remembered as a kind and bright young girl who performed well at high school. In 1976, she went to boarding school at Masalanabo High in Ramujaji in the then Northern Transvaal, now Limpopo province, and completed her matric in 1981. In 1982, enrolled for qualification in social sciences at the then University of the North, now University of Limpopo. The 1980s were turbulent years where students experienced police brutality and racial segregation instigated by the apartheid regime through the boundary education system. Students constantly studied under police surveillance, facing harsh harassment and punishment. The defiant Josephine was arrested for 3 months and allegedly without any privileges of visits from family or friends, while her friend was released after 2 weeks. This brought too much fear among her friends. Josephine Moshobane's ordeal is deeply disturbing, with reports suggesting that she endured excruciating and inhuman treatment. She was reportedly held captive in a cramped, dimly lit room, her hands and legs bound in chains, severely restricting her mobility. Allegations also point to severe physical abuse, as she was purportedly subjected to brutal beatings and granted only 1 hour of sleep per day, with access to sustenance limited to a single meal. Tragically, Josephine Moshobane's life was cut heartbreakingly short at the tender age of 24. She passed away at a Gauteng hospital shortly after her release from Heinesberg prison, leaving a stark reminder of the harrowing injustices she endured. Minister said in honoring Josephine, "We are compelled to reflect on the struggles waged by youth and students in South Africa."
In honoring and remembering Josephine, we are compelled to reflect on the struggles waged by youth and students of our country. We also note that the role played by intellectuals and academia in creating a space for reflecting on our history and those of others, through which we learn and sharpen our strategy and tactics as we encountered the then apartheid regime. The enlightenment that came through scholarship within our universities meant young students had to think through about their environment as well as their involvement and advancement of the struggle for liberation. All of us seated here, we remember the household names of the pioneers of the Black consciousness movement led by students such as Steve Bantu Biko. Biko and his peers recognized that colonialism and apartheid did not only affect them materially or even socially, not also economically only, however, it also affected our mental frame. Given the many years of dispossession and oppression, some among us even believed that indeed as African people and blacks in general, we were inferior than others. It is for this reason that decolonialization of our minds was and remains critical and the affirmation of who we are as a people. We will also remember that student activism has always been there. This led to young people to form their organizations as vehicles for waging struggles that were informed by their lived experiences as students, but also as members of society.
In a heartfelt tribute, the Moshobane family, along with the university's management, gathered at the Josephine Moshobane Square to honor her memory. They came together to light candles near a plaque that had been unveiled during the inaugural lecture. This poignant plaque stands proudly alongside a residence named in honor of Josephine Moshobane, serving as a perpetual reminder of her enduring legacy and the enduring impact she has had on the University of Limpopo. Our reporter Malisela Zuleng witnessed this gesture.
Thank you, Itumile. Let me just start by saying that when it took root, this legacy will be remembered, your legacy will be celebrated and embraced. Indeed, that is evident as we are at the Moshobane Square, remembering a fallen struggle, heroine of the liberation of the education system in South Africa, that is Josephine Moshobane.
We will also have
Continuing the Women's Month celebrations, the University of Limpopo Gender Desk organized a delightful picnic at the Oscar Mpeta Stadium. The event brought together female staff and students, providing them with a unique opportunity to foster connections, engage in sports and aerobic activities, and exchange valuable strategies for achieving a harmonious work-study life balance. This gathering also emphasized the importance of women supporting one another, fostering a strong and resilient support system within the university's community.
We need to take an initiative. And if we do not create a plan, I say we because I'm also a woman. Again, our jobs are more likely to intrude on our marriages and family life.
After the break, we cross over to Hiti High School, where the Vice-Chancellor and Principal is speaking to high school learners. Stay with us for more on this. Thank you for staying with us. Professor Mokgalong, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Limpopo, recently spearheaded a recruitment initiative alongside teams from the university's 4 faculties: Health Sciences, Humanities, Management and Law, and Science and Agriculture. This recruitment drive created special significance as it returned to Hiti High School, the very institution where Prof. Mokgalong completed his matriculation. During the visit, Prof. Mokgalong emphasized the importance of diligence and academic achievement among the learners. He encouraged them to strive for grades that would open doors to pursue their desired qualifications, helping them realize their aspirations and dreams.
So good people, above all, I'm going to wish you all the luck with the trial exams and with the main exam that is coming. Just exert yourself and study. It's not nice to study, I must say. I always say to people, a grade 12 certificate, I think it's worth more than what you people think about it. And there are people who come to university, you know how they calculate those scores. Yeah, but I've got 22. Can't you just give me one? I'll give you one from where? To get to 23 so that you can get into an extended program of a degree.
To kick off the month of September, the Riachona Disability Center at the University of Limpopo hosted a Deaf Awareness Month event. This initiative aims to raise awareness about the experiences, challenges, and contributions of the deaf community, fostering greater understanding and inclusion within the university and the broader society. September is the International Month for Deaf People in commemoration of the first World Congress of the World Federation of the Deaf, which took place in September 1951. We are crossing live to the Riachona Disability Center for more details on this story.
Mr. Ivan, welcome. Please tell us, what is this event all about?
We are basically running deaf awareness, which is actually celebrated on an annual basis, and we celebrate it in September. So we thought it's very important as an institution so that we become part of the celebration, just to make awareness to the University of Limpopo community regarding deafness, regarding sign language, and also bearing in mind that sign language is now one of the official languages in our country. So it's very important for us to have such awareness. And with that being said, we have learners that will be joining us. As from next year, we have opened up the enrollment for deaf learners to come to our institution. So we are trying to make sure that those learners will find us ready to at least know how to greet them and make them feel welcome when they come to our institution. So we are starting with such awareness, and then just to brief people on how to greet and how to fingerspell and such. Thank you.
All right. What about the attendees, those who attended today? How are they benefiting from the event?
With the attendees, before I can even talk about what they're benefiting, I just want to say I was amazed at the participation and the excitement as well, which gets to show that, people really want such awareness. And for those who attended our session today, they gained the awareness about deaf culture. What do we say? What does it mean when we talk about deaf people? When we talk about sign language, we're just making those basic information, and also the do's and don'ts within the deaf culture. Simple things like no communication can happen in the dark because sign language is a visual language. So we were just briefing them and giving such awareness. And of course, they are not going to get any certificate. It's not a training or course as such. It's just an awareness briefing where we are just sensitizing people to deaf culture, sensitizing people to sign language and what it entails. And also, I believe it's a great initiation, especially for us as RDC, because we are the ones who are going to welcome the learners when they come to the university. So we have our securities ready, we have our student assistants ready, we have our staff members ready as well, and we also went to an extent of inviting the different departments, staff members from different departments. They were also here participating with us, and I believe we did justice. It went very well. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
The Faculty of Humanities at the University of Limpopo maintained its tradition of hosting the annual spring lectures featuring a remarkable array of scholarly contributions. This year's event witnessed the presentation of 41 papers, notably including the work of 28 postgraduate researchers, among whom were 26 doctoral candidates. The central theme of this two-day conference was reflecting on contestations and prospects of Africa in a globalized world. This theme provided a platform for insightful discussions and critical examinations of the challenges and opportunities that Africa faces in an increasingly interconnected global landscape.
The first research that we are carrying out this year has to do with the burials that they take place within people's yards.
É uma prática cultural em que os que morrem são enterrados atrás, dentro do quintal, e vão arrumando aí as campas.
It's a practice down in Mozambique that when people die, they are buried within their yards.
Temos conhecimento de que esta prática também existe aqui na África do Sul.
We are aware that this practice also does exist here in South Africa.
Em Moçambique, o que está a criar problema é o facto de esta prática não facilitar o processo de urbanização.
The challenge in Mozambique is that this practice does not allow or does not ease the process of urbanization.
E aquilo que está a acontecer é que as cidades estão a ficar comprometidas em termos de desenvolvimento por conta desta prática cultural.
What's happening is that this practice is bringing a great constraint in the development of cities in Mozambique.
E o nosso objetivo com esta pesquisa é encontrar um meio termo entre a cultura e a urbanização.
Our objective with this study is to find a mid-term between culture and the process of urbanization.
We are leaving it here for this week, and thank you for joining us. And the rest of Inside You All team, have a great week ahead.